Ladies and gentlemen, thanks. This is really special for us. It's the second edition of the Australian All Abilities Championship presented by ISPS Handa. Just to introduce the people on the panel here and also, I guess, the chief organiser, Christian Hamilton, in a second. But first on the left, Geoff Nicholas. I guess you're a regular around Australian golf circles, Geoff, but a professional golfer for probably a little bit over 25-ish?
25 years.
25 years. Geoff's playing in his second Australian All Abilities Championship. Daphne Van Houten from the Netherlands, welcome along, your first and a historic player for us. Not only the first woman in the Australian All Abilities Championship, but the first female to play in 104 editions of the Australian Open among the field. So really important player to us. Thank you. Welcome from the Netherlands. And on my closest to me here, Chad Pfeifer from Boise, Idaho. It's got an amazing story, an ex-war veteran. They're all happy to talk about the golf and I think about their experiences as well. And if you have specific questions to the tournament, I point you in Christian Hamilton's direction. Christian's the National Inclusion Manager for Golf Australia and also the chief organiser at this tournament, as I say. I'll start off, Geoff, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Geoff Nicholas, I'm saying you have had an amazing year. Mm-hmm. It's taken you, since we last spoke at the Australian All Abilities Championship last year, golf's taken you in some crazy directions, hasn't it?
Yes, well, firstly, we played the Edgar Scottish Open, which was part of the All Abilities Championship. And the following week, I qualified for the Senior Open at Royal Leatherman St Anne's. So I became the first amputee to qualify for a major event. It was a bit daunting playing with all the old legends of golf, but it was such a great experience, you know, playing beside Tom Watson and Freddie Couples, those type of guys. Yeah.
Geoff, I've got one for you as well. As Casey said, you've been around the game for a long time. Did you ever envisage a day you'd be joined by people from all over the world playing in an event like this? I can't imagine you would have ever seen that as a possibility.
No, well, actually, I played here in 1996 in the Australian Open. And I'm back here in 2019 playing in this event, so it's quite amazing to, I played a lot of amputee golf in the late 80s and 90s and in the US, and it's come so far, and I think the Australian Christian Hamilton's done a great job to make it all inclusive for everyone, and I think it's bigger and better. It's going to be bigger and better, and I think it's great because I think it's going to help other athletes with a disability. They see us out there and it inspires them to do better and so try and compete on this circuit too.
Daphne, a question for you. As Mark said, obviously it's an historic thing. Are you feeling the pressure? It's a big golf course. Adam Scott's here, Sergio's here. There's an awful lot of things going on. How are you feeling about the week coming up?
The pressure is getting more and more now, yeah. It's starting on Friday and a bit of training now, and if you see the big guys next to you, then yeah, you can feel the pressure, yeah.
And I'd have the same question for you, I guess, Chad. It's one thing to play a bit of golf, it's another thing to play a bit of golf on the range and the golf course with Adam and Sergio and Ernie and run through the names. It's amazing.
Yeah, just, being on property, walking in something to eat, going down to the range, to see all these guys, the players you mentioned. Just to be rubbing shoulders with them is amazing. But this week, is huge, not only for disabled golf, but, for golf in general. I know all over the world, people are trying to grow the sport, and for us to be able to, show off our talents, it's an amazing opportunity for us as disabled players to show off our talent to the world, and, it's so great. Like they mentioned, for others to be able to see us on TV competing at an event such as the Australian Open is huge for disabled golf, and it's great for golf in general. For everyone to be able to see us, it's an amazing opportunity for PGA players and European players to see us as well. So, hopefully they can see us have success on the course, and there's going to be a champion at the end of the week. The entire week is going to be a lot bigger than crowning a champion, for disabled golf and golf in general. So it's a huge week for us.
I think like anybody who was at the Lakes last year for the inaugural event, I came away so impressed, but also thinking what took the game so long to get us to this point where golfers with disabilities had a championship to play for. Is that a similar sentiment for you guys actually playing as well? That why did we take so long to get to this point?
Is that to Chad?
Any of the three.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's certain pockets around the world, that have big disabled golf tournaments, but there's only been a few, this one last year and then again this year, that have kind of combined everybody in the world. And, the Scottish Open that Geoff competed in and other guys competed, it's to put it on a national level or a world level is great for the game of golf. And, yeah, it's mine, I guess it wasn't a matter of when, I guess, was just, who was going to organize it. And so for Christian and his team, in the Emirates Australian Open, to be open to events like this is huge. And hopefully, more tournaments catch on and, you see the likes of us, I guess, at more tournaments around the world.
Well, I think the same, of course. I'm only playing disabled for 2 years now, but there is a lot of improvement for the last 2 years, and I hope there will be more. And Christine is doing a good job, so well done.
Yeah, I think when I started playing in '89, when I played in my first US amputee, there was quite a lot of players, and from there we just played an amputee tournament every year, and from there it's really grown. And I think the last 2 or 3 years where it's kicked the sport with Christians, with the Golf Australia, what they've done and made it all inclusive. I think it's shown that a couple of tournaments to start with, and then it's going to keep growing and growing. I think that's where I can see it going. Which is great, and it's certainly come a long way since I was playing. That's for sure. Started.
Daphne, can I ask you 3 questions, if you don't mind? What inspired you to get into golf? That's my first question.
I started playing when I was 6, and just because my parents did. That's the main reason I started.
The other question was, have you met Juice Luton or played with Juice?
Sorry?
Have you played or met Juice Luton?
What's that? Oh, Joost Luiten.
Josh Luton, okay, there.
Sorry.
My Dutch is not that good. My English is not that good either.
I never played with him, no.
Yeah.
I've seen him play at the KLM Open and in other countries, but never played with him, no.
Did your parents take you along to the KLM Open? Or
Yeah.
any ladies' tournaments?
Sorry?
Or any of the ladies' tournaments?
If they took me there.
To the KLM.
And my last question before I get you all tangled up, how inspiring was it to see Europe win the Solheim Cup this year? Is that something that inspires you?
It really is, yeah. I saw Anne van Dam play, and it was really amazing to see. And I'd like to stand there the same as Anne, but I don't think I will get there, but it's a big dream to get there, yeah.
Maybe one day. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
This one probably applies more to Chad and Daphne because, Geoff, you've experienced this kind of thing a lot, but have you had any cool experiences this week already of kind of hitting on the range or practicing with able-bodied athletes, and what's that like?
Chat.
Yeah, like last night was an amazing opportunity for me. We had the welcome dinner at the bar last night, and so I was up on stage with Paul Casey and Sergio Garcia, and they were just normal guys, excited that I was a part of it, and it was, pretty surreal for me just to be up on the stage with them and then have a little close to the pin contest with them. So that was a really cool experience. And then, I've had the chance to talk with a couple guys, Mike Weir just earlier today, talking with him. So yeah, it's being able to talk with guys and just kind of hang out with people here is pretty special.
And Daphne, have you had similar experiences on the range or at practice?
I was quite impressed on the range because I was a bit outnumbered, the only lady on the range, and there were quite a lot of big guys there. So, and I went on a picture with Ernie Els, and that was a big dream for me to get on a picture with him. So, I had a lot of good experience, and I hope a lot more this week.
And just further to that, do you find that the able-bodied professionals, are they interested in what you do? Are they watching you and talking to you and asking you about the issues that you have playing golf with the issues that you have?
Yeah, it's. I've had a few guys, more actually a couple today because I wore shorts. But yeah, just come up to me and, one, congratulate me for being here and wish me success throughout the week. But then, yeah, they kind of asked me, so how does it work with the prosthetic and the golf swing? And so I've been able to kind of show them how I swing and how I've built my swing around the prosthetic. But, yeah, for them, players of this caliber to come up to me, and I guess they're not really asking for advice, but they're, trying to figure out how we do it. It's pretty cool because it's, like I said, players of this caliber, they're asking how we golf, and I'm sure they get it, 1,000 times over and over how they golf and their tips and secrets. So it's been a really cool experience, for players like this to come up and ask us how we do it.
Kind of continuing on from that question for all of you, it's a pretty impressive field this year for us. Is there anyone in particular that, you're starstruck by, you really want to meet, kind of just a big moment where I'm in the same field as these guys? Is there anyone in particular?
For me, there's quite a few of them. I got to see Adam Scott and Sergio just in here before us. And then you see Ernie Els. I actually, when I started to play competitively, I read Nick O'Hearn's Tour Mentality, and I'm sponsored by Diamond Resorts, and Nick lives down in Florida next to the CEO of Diamond Resorts. So Nick O'Hearn actually came up to me and he's like, "Hey, tell Mike Flasky hi." And I was like, okay, I read your book. I was a little starstruck because he came up, and so it was a little kind of awkward, but I was like, it was a lot of fun though to meet him and kind of talk with him. So.
For me, like I said, Ernie Els is a big one. And I think the other one, Paul Casey, I think he's a really good player, and I'd like to see him play. And I think all abilities players, of course. I'm playing with you tomorrow, I guess.
Friday, yeah.
Friday, yeah, sorry. And I'd like to see him play too, so...
Well, probably my heroes were like Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus going back. And I experienced that at the Senior Open this year with Tom Watson and all those guys there. It was quite amazing. And he playing in his last major to play in the same field, that was something special. No, but it's just great. I think playing, because I've played professionally and in the disabled side of it, I think a lot of the pros really admire us because they know how tough the game is, and sort of I see it both ways. It's one of the hardest games to do, but it's probably one of the only games in the world where we can compete on the same playing field as a professional. There's no other sport you can do that, that's a great plus for the game of golf.
So I think one of the things that struck me last year, Geoff, if you don't mind, you guys can talk to it too, is that it's not just the championship, it's legitimately world-class golf. And we saw Johan in the final round last year shoot a 73 and better than half the field in the able-bodied edition. Do you like blowing people's minds with how good the golf is? Actual golf and not anything else?
Yeah, well, this year at the Scottish Open, Brendan Layla from Ireland shot 71, and that was a pretty brutal course.
Yeah.
That was long, and he beat probably 20 or 30 of the players. So I mean, he can play the game, and last year with our hand, but and I shot a par in the qualifying for the Senior Open. So, I mean, we can all, on our day, we can all shoot good scores. Probably just not about good scores, it's just getting the game out there, showing what we can do. And I think that's the big thing. It's sort of someone out there sitting down that's had an accident, they can see us, what we do, and I think that might inspire them a little bit too.
And I'm going to ask you one biased question. Are you really proud that Australia is leading the way here?
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, it's Christian Hamlin's done a great job with Australia, and with what the last 2 years has been terrific. And with the World Cup last year, plus this year the President's Cup, it's I think it's great to see Australia at the forefront of all this activity.
I've got one last one for you, Chad, if you don't mind. Last year we had Edgar rankings. This year we've got the disability rankings. What's it called? World rankings for golfers with a disability. It's a massively important step towards the Paralympics. Is that something that's on your mind?
Yeah, I think so. I think any disabled player wants to see golf in the Paralympics. And it was, that was obviously a huge step, getting the world kind of on the same level as far as a ranking and a classification levels for disabled golf. So yeah, me just being here, since the U.S. has kind of just been introduced to the ranking system in the last, it was a year ago this week when it kind of was announced. So yeah, in less than a year to, for me, and to see American and Canadians and, people from all over the world kind of climb the ranking system, it's been huge. And that effort in particular for the Paralympics is, again, just something that's great for the game of golf. And, so hopefully we can get golf in the Paralympics, and, it'll be another kind of platform that we can use golf to reach out to, players across the world and show them that, no matter what you go through in life, you can always go out and enjoy golf. And, with the world ranking, it gives you something to work for if you want to play competitively.
Awesome. Any more questions or questions for Christian? No? Well, thank you to all our athletes. We really wish you the best of luck and have a great experience this week. The tournament starts on Friday and goes Saturday and Sunday, 54 holes. It's awesome. Get out there and watch it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.